Kia ora everyone, my name is Warren, I'm from Westpac and I'm here with Liz Byers, a real estate agent from Barfoot and Thompson here in Auckland. Now we're here together to talk about what is happening in the housing market, especially for our first home buyers. So Liz, when is a good time to buy a first home?
First thing I'd say, it's very easy to get distracted with media headlines about where the market's at and where it potentially will go and what the right time to buy is. My advice to first home buyers is do your homework, make sure you've got all your ducks in a row, get a little bit of experience in terms of buying methods and values and that type of thing, gain a little bit of confidence, and that is the right time for people to buy.
I really like how you talked about doing your numbers, make sure you're making the right choices, and then having a little bit of experience. So you meaning getting first home buyers to maybe go to an auction, go to a couple of open homes, or talk to real estate agents?
Absolutely. I think get a feel for how everything works, and then you can make a move when you see something you like and it's within your budget.
Awesome. All right, Liz, what's some advice you would give first home buyers around buying within their means?
The first one is have a really clear idea of what your must-haves are versus your nice-to-haves when you're searching in terms of your criteria when searching for a property. Your must-haves are probably the ones that you're going to stick to no matter what, and the nice-to-haves may be the things that you end up compromising on to make sure that your budget is going to fit the property that you want to buy. So be prepared to settle for a little less than perfect. The other thing that I would advise first-home buyers is be prepared with pre-purchase costs. So things like costs for building inspections, valuation reports, solicitor fees.
Yep.
These all add up, and I know that when you're a first-home buyer, every single dollar counts. So it's important to allow for these pre-purchase costs, and you may have to allow for them more than once, particularly if you're going to be exploring a few different properties along your way.
All right, Liz, now that you've got your funds ready, what are some of the key factors that need to come into play when looking at your first home?
I think that location is probably the key factor to consider for any buyer, basically. And be prepared to settle for less than perfect. I think when it comes to the house, I think if you can prioritise the right location, that is going to stand you in better stead. But one other thing that I would advise people to look at is if a location doesn't feel quite right for you, if it ticks some of the boxes but not all of the boxes, do a little bit of extra homework to see what sort of future development may be planned for that particular area. So new transport hubs, new recreation centres, all of those things are going to help improve or have an impact on that location's value over time.
All right, Liz, can you sort of explain some of those different types of housing that are out there for people to choose?
Yeah, but look, there's all sorts. A new build, obviously nice and modern, and usually come with very low maintenance worries to think about, particularly in the short to medium term because it's just been built. And if it's exceptionally new, then you often have some sort of builder's warranty. Doer-uppers, usually with a doer-upper, you're looking at an older style house that hopefully has got some solid foundations and has been around for a while. However, you know, when you're looking at renovations, sometimes a lot of these costs can be unknown, and that's why it's really important, particularly with a doer-upper, I think, to get some specialist advice from a builder who knows what they're talking about and can see what the potential costs might be.
All right, Liz, so we've gone through that journey or the process around buying your first home, but there's a flip side to buying your first home. It's selling, right? What are three types of ways people sort of sell their home?
First one is auction, where you have a set time frame, you have set an auction date as the deadline, and in the time leading up to that, buyers need to do their own homework, need to do their due diligence to be prepared to bid at auction. And when you're buying at auction, basically the highest bid wins the auction as long as the reserve price that has been set by the seller has been met.
The other traditional price by negotiation, is that sort of popular method at the moment that you're seeing in the market?
It's becoming more popular. Often we'll see properties either listed with a price or by negotiation, and in those cases then as a buyer you can make an offer to purchase the property, and that offer can be unconditional or it can be conditional.
There's also one that I've seen recently, tender?
Yes.
Yes, can you give us a little bit of an overview of what that sort of means or
Sure.
looks like?
Tender is a little bit like a closed auction. So there is a set date when you have to submit your offer to purchase the property by. Now, unlike an auction, you can put forward a conditional offer in a tender process. But what happens with a tender is there's a date and all offers are put forward to the seller all at the same time for the seller to consider.
With going to auction, for a first home buyer, they can be really scary.
Well, yes, auctions can be very overwhelming and quite scary, particularly if you haven't been to a lot of them. And if you're someone who gets emotionally carried away with this type of thing, I would recommend bringing someone along with you who can keep you in check and make sure you don't overstep your budget. All right, so Warren, a question for you.
Oh.
In terms of kind of getting all your ducks in a row and making sure that you've done everything you can to avoid last minute headaches and unnecessary expense, What are some things that you can recommend to first home buyers in terms of making sure that they're getting themselves well prepared for that home purchase journey?
Yeah, sometimes they consider it the boring stuff, right? So the best way I could say to first-time buyers is to make sure that you've got all your documentation ready. So whether that be from bank statements through to pay slips, through to engaging a solicitor early, making sure that they're across everything. Because what you don't want to happen is on settlement day, things to go AWOL. So get your solicitor involved. Make sure you got insurance sorted, because if you don't have insurance, they won't draw down the house. So really strongly ensure that that's all sorted.